Thank you so much for coming tonight. As you guys know, my name is Bailey De Silva, and tonight I'm going to be speaking about how to create an effective post on social media. So by the raise of hands, how many of you have ever posted something on social media and gotten minimal engagement, maybe less than 10 likes, shares, or comments on your post? Okay. And how many of you have ever posted something on social media and gotten quite a bit of engagement, over 10 likes, shares, or comments?
No.
There's a pretty wide range here. So my question is, what is it that makes an effective social media post versus a non-effective social media post? So I studied at LDS Business College in Salt Lake City, and I was required to take an introduction to social media marketing class. I was intrigued by a lot of the content that I learned, but mostly about how to post on my personal platforms. I also learned a lot through my husband, who graduated in social media marketing from that same school. I realized what a big impact social media has in our society today, and I realized what a tool it can be in sharing goodness and light, and also maybe even darkness as well. So my aim today is to help you understand how you can use social media to spread light and to spread goodness in our world today. That being said, I'll go over 3 main elements to an effective social media post. The first is effective photos or videos. The second is captions, and the third are hashtags. There's plenty of other things you can do to make an effective social media post, but those are the 3 things I'll focus on. So let's get started. So when we talk about pictures and videos being effective in helping us to get engagement on social media, what kind of pictures are we talking about? Hootsuite, which is a social media website that publishes a lot of articles on social media, said that high quality pictures are really important on social media. So you want something that's not grainy or unfocused, or something that you can't see the objects or the persons in the picture and or video. Now we all know there's pictures and videos that are spread around that are grainy and terrible and low quality, and for some reason they get lots of shares and likes, but it's usually because they have really good content. And that's pretty rare, and that's an exception. So generally we want to have high quality pictures and or videos. We also want to make sure that they're limited in their number. So it might be tempting to post 25 pictures of your vacation to Hawaii last summer, but quite frankly, most of us don't care and won't click through every single one of your pictures. Now maybe if it's a close family member or maybe even close friends, they will interact and go through each one individually. But it's good to maybe post 2 and highlight the important parts of your vacation that are more meaningful to you. It's also important to post things that you're passionate about. On HubSpot, which is another social media website that publishes articles, it talks about being authentic. And I think we all know of people who are fake on social media. They post like everything's great, their perfect life, their perfect makeup, their perfect hair. And we all know that real life isn't really like that. So it's important that even if you are posting happy stuff about your life, that you post things that are real to yourself so that people can connect with you. The second element are effective captions. And that will look different for each one of us because we all have different personalities, different humor, different audiences, but there's a few general specifics that I'll share with you to help you guide your captions. The first one is to make them short. So David King is a social media guru, and he talked about tried and true and simple are great ways to effectively post a caption. So that means you want to keep it very short and sweet. If you're writing 2 or 3 paragraphs, people will likely scroll right on by. Again, maybe close friends or family members will look at the post, but most people will probably scroll by, so it's important to keep it short and sweet. You also want to make sure that you're posting things that are positive. A CEO of a social media company talked about the difference between happiness and positivity. We're not always going to be happy. There are things that we're going to be upset about in life, but most of the time on social media, we want to post about things that have a positive light to them. So for example, I've had a really bad day, but I found a quote on Pinterest by a prophet or apostle or somebody, and it was really inspiring to me, so I comment on that. People like to see goodness. They like to see that there's positive in the world, and that's likely to get more interaction. You also want to make sure that you're inviting your audience to do something when you post. So the Social Media Examiner, which is another website that's popular in publishing social media content, talks about how it's important to ask questions, which is a great kickstart in getting conversation going on your post. Or posting things like, I know my family's forever. Those kinds of things might inspire people to wonder, what does that really mean? And maybe you'll get a comment or maybe even a private message about that specific post that you've shared. Finally, hashtags are another effective way that we can get engagement on our posts. There's a lot to know about hashtags, but in general, they're good for broadening your reach if you care to do so. In the past, we've seen hashtag LDSConf. We don't see that as much as we do now. But before, you could type that in on social media and it would bring up all the posts that were related to General Conference, which is nice if you're preparing to talk or if you just want to see other people's insights on certain conference talks or things like that. Similarly, when me and my husband got married, we had our own hashtag. So when we went back and looked at our pictures and videos that people posted, it was really special for us. And there are other reasons why hashtags are useful as well, just to put them in there, even if you're not planning on going back to look at them again. They're also effective buzzwords and attention grabbers. They're small things that people can look back on and memorize quickly. So you want to make sure that they're short, that they're really short. Because if you're posting like hashtag I love snuggling my husband every Sunday afternoon, it's super long, it's super boring, one, and two, hashtags don't have any spaces, so it will take somebody a really long time just to discern what you're trying to say at all. And you should also make sure that there's only about 2 to 3 of those as well. Now for Instagram and photography, you might see people post several hashtags on one post, which is great and it can be appropriate in some business settings. But as for a personal platform, nobody's really going to read through all of those hashtags. So 2 or 3 is a good limit. I hope after having shared with you some effective elements to a social media post, that you'll be able to use social media in a way that portrays light and goodness to a world that sometimes seems dark and dreary. Because oftentimes we wonder, what can I do to share goodness, or how can I be an influence, or how can I impact others for good? I hope that by using effective photos or videos and captions and hashtags, that you'll be able to share your testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ and of the positivity that's in the world and the good that comes from being alive and experiencing the things that we get to experience here on earth. So my question for you is, how will you make an impact and how will you share goodness through social media? Thank you so much.